want to begin with the limited voter registration conversations and the story on the citinewsroom.com. Limited voter registration, 3 police officers interdicted. Now it says here, the Ghana Police Service has interdicted 3 police personnel with immediate effect over their failure to perform their duty professionally in the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. Now, a police statement disclosed that the affected policemen, Inspector Michael Addo, General Constable Eric Boache, and General Constable Michael Jan, on 11th of May 2024, failed to perform in a proper manner a duty imposed on them as officers in charge of security at the Electoral Commission office at Idujama in the Ashanti region, when some persons attempted to disrupt the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. Now, the interdicted personnel will be taken through the due disciplinary process of the police service. Meanwhile, the police has arrested the Member of Parliament for Asutifi South, Honorable Alhaji Collins Dauda, for his alleged involvement in the disturbances which occurred at Kukum in the Ahafo region during the ongoing limited voter registration exercise on Saturday, 11th of May 2024. Now, one person sustained an injury and is currently receiving treatment at the hospital. In a brief statement, the police disclosed that they are in pursuit of other suspects in connection with the incident. Mensa, let me begin with you.
Kweku, very swift and fantastic response
by the police,
by the Ghana police, if indeed they believe that crime has been committed. No political person or nobody is above the law. If the police feel that crime has been committed, the police ought to effect an arrest. And you know, it's very swift and enlightening to hear that the police has been able to arrest a member of parliament if they had cause to believe that he was involved in the violence that occurred.
Yeah.
But Kweku, have you realized that anytime there is an arrest by the police, either in electoral matters or in any activities involving political parties, it is always against the opposition party? We went to a by-election in Ejiso. We saw a member of parliament right in the full glare of the cameras trying to induce electoral officers. Up to date, not a single arrest.
He wasn't arrested?
No. By who?
By the police.
The police invited him.
By the police.
You see that there's a difference between inviting somebody for investigation and an arrest.
Okay.
When the police invite you for investigation, it's not an arrest.
I get you, but the situations may differ.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
The principle on arrest is pretty much simple. If you are caught in the act,
You'll be picked up. Yeah.
Of doing
either
something.
about to commit a crime, in the commission of the crime, in the process of committing the crime, or after committing the crime, immediately after committing the crime, you can be arrested. We saw in the full glare, in front of police officers who were seated there, a member of parliament providing or attempting to influence electoral officers by giving them cash. The police did not effect an arrest. Later, I'm hearing for the first time that he was even invited.
No, it was the day after. I think.
So the point I'm making is that we love it when the police act. We love it when the police do what they are supposed to do. But when there is a clear, perception of discrimination in the application of the laws of the country, then it removes trust in the police service. I want to see the police having the confidence to arrest members of this government. Because you cannot tell me that at all times it is only the opposition members that are fallible.
Okay.
We've seen instances where members of the party, of the ruling party, are involved. Let's talk about Ayawaso West Wogon. Ayawaso West Wogon, in fact, as for Ayawaso West Wogon, I'm pained because what did we see? We set up a commission of inquiry who looked into it. The committee gave us recommendations, asked that certain persons to be arrested and prosecuted, certain persons should be interdicted, certain persons should be sacked from their position, certain people should be paid compensation. Up to date, the government has not respected a single recommendation of the Ayawaso West Wogon Commission of Inquiry.
Yeah, but it's their recommendations. So what they are not, you can choose.
Kweku. You see, when we do this, we create, we create pain and anger in the hearts of people. If we know we are not going to respect the findings of the commission, what was the point in setting up the commission in the first place? And expend taxpayers' money on the commission, pay people allowances, provided money for logistics and operational activities of the commission. What was the essence? But the purpose of that commission was that, look, we saw that maybe just jumping into conclusion and saying that this person was guilty, this person was not guilty, would be quite chaotic. So let's put a commission together. Let's investigate. Let's come with a recommendation, a roadmap on how to deal with the situation. Because the whole purpose of the commission was not only to punish people, but to ensure that certain things do not repeat itself. You failed to implement the Commission of Inquiry recommendations. You failed to take or accept any of the issues they brought up. You failed to implement any of the key recommendations that could have prevented such violence in our elections again. And so, instead of building trust, you eroded further trust in the security agencies. And so today, when people are going to the electoral sectors for either voter registration or for elections, they know that they cannot trust the police. They know that they cannot trust the state officials, the electoral commission, anybody. And so they will put the law in their own hands. And so what we are seeing, this violence we are seeing in Kukum, where a member of parliament has been arrested, is a residue of the government's inactions in the Ayawaso West Wogon recommendations. Because electoral violence is something we've all said that they do not help. We have all, in fact, we said let's disband our vigilante groups. According to the recommendation of the report, the government set up a roadmap for disbandment. In fact, I was a civil society representative on the committee for the vigilantism talks. You know what they did? They quickly absorbed their vigilante groups into the security agencies.
Who?
The ruling government. And there's clear-cut evidence. And we all saw the issue of Double, who was a mobile phone seller at Circle, and how he got a police uniform to go to Ayawaso West Wogon. All these things were brought up by the Commission of Inquiry's investigations. What did the government do? They threw the report somewhere. And so today, when people go to electoral...
But the vigilante groups have been disbanded, or?
Disbanded, but I said the opposition parties have disbanded, yes, whilst the government has absorbed their vigilante groups into the security agencies. And I challenge them. They should...
But even if that was true, it's a form of disbandment.
How is that a form of disbandment?
The group doesn't exist anymore.
You give...
Disbanding the group is...
You give hoodlums uniform. Hoodlums who invade court, sitting court to free suspects. You give them police uniforms and accoutrements, and you call it disbandment. What are you talking about, my brother? What are you talking about? That somebody who is involved in creating chaos in our electoral process can invade a court and free suspect and even attack a sitting judge. You give that person a uniform and weapons procured by state resources, and you call it disbandment? Kogu, please don't let viewers get angry with you this morning.
But
that is not a disbandment.
Wait, you're talking about the Delta forces, right?
I'm talking about all the vigilante groups.
Okay.
Within
the group that attacked the
court.
They don't exist anymore.
Where are their members? Their members are wearing police uniform.
No. You see, that's a different conversation.
Kweku,
you are talking about disbandment.
Kweku,
It means the group does not exist.
the fact that they are not operating in the name of Delta Force anymore does not mean they do not exist. Kweku, the disbandment, like I said, I was part of the talks with the Peace Council. The roadmap set for disbandment was that the opposition parties disbar all activities. In fact, we passed the act. Any form of vigilante activities, militia activities, were forbidden by the law.
Yeah.
Now, if I, or the opposition party, disband my militia groups, and you, the government, absorb your state security agencies now with more powers of state, with more weapons, of course, and with the state resources at their disposal, and they are only loyal to you, the state machinery and the party machinery, at the detriment of the opposition parties who have disbanded their militia and their vigilante groups. What are you doing? So, Koko, we cannot countenance some of these actions by the government. We must be bold enough to call these actions out and let the government know that, see, one of the critical aspects of every election or electoral process is confidence and trust. Trust in the electoral officers who are engaged in the election activity, and trust for the security agencies who are providing security.
Okay.
If today I am a member of any other political party apart from the ruling party, and I'm going to the polling center, and I have no trust and confidence that if there is any mishap, the security agencies there are going to protect me, then there's a problem.
Please repeat that for me.
If today I am an official of an opposition party, and I'm going to monitor the electoral process at a polling station or an electoral area, and I know that if any mishap happens, I, the opposition member, will be arrested. But if the ruling member, if a member or an official of the ruling party is involved in a chaotic activity or anything, he will be left and I will be arrested. Then you win trust, you reduce trust, you remove trust, you do not build confidence. And so all we are saying is that the police must work. They must apply the laws of state without any form of discrimination.
Okay.
Nobody's above the law. If a member of the opposition party commits a crime or is involved in electoral violence, you have every right to arrest the person. The same must be applied to members of the ruling government if they commit electoral offenses.
So Kinsinyako should have been arrested.
Why? We don't even have to be sitting here to be talking about this. So the hypocrisy that this arrest of Collins Dauda bring forth is that, on one hand, we saw a member of parliament on live TV with our own eyes in front of police officers committing an electoral offense. He was not arrested. But today we are being told that a member of parliament from another party was caught committing a crime and he has been arrested. Where lies the equity in the application of our laws?
Yeah.
And so this definitely cannot be countenanced.
All right, thank you. Jeffrey.
Yeah, I think this exercise that we are seeing, the voter registration, like we all agree, is a lead up to deciding on, who should qualify to also further decide, who should govern this country, and also starting from the assembly, the district level to the presidential level. I think there's need to condemn any act that violates the rules and the laws and lay down processes. These offenders must be punished. That should be enough to deter others from actually perpetuating the same crimes that they have committed. But the actions that I would expect for this situation will be that the police administration must take them on and met the required action, disciplinary actions that the processes have stated. I'm sure when you go to the police administration, they have their actions they will take. If they think the police council should come in, maybe they need to have an overhaul of, because sometimes in command systems, it's not only the young man who misbehaved. Somebody should be supervising, so it trickles up all the way. You see that a whole chain of command broke down. That's why maybe some people had the chance to misbehave. The Honorable MP must also face the laws if he had done anything wrong. He's a member of parliament, and I would expect that it is not the first time he has actually gone through elections. But one would smartly ask, for a person who has experience, what might have provoked that person to go to the next level of reacting. You know, sometimes when people, yes, it's an honorable member, but every other man has a limit. Even Jesus Christ lost it and entered the church with whip. Yeah. So at a point in time, as human as you are, you get angry. And what makes you angry is also very important. Maybe you expect that, oh, he's a gentleman, so when the gentleman called him a name something, or name calling, or a week out, or maybe he suspected something, he should have gone through some process of protest. But people can lose it when it happens more than once. You know, so he should be called. I know he knows the laws of the country. He's a lawmaker, so he will not be taken off the belt like that. He knows his rights. You have lawyers to come at his aid, and I'm sure he will have his day. If he has to be processed to court, he will have his day in court. The law must just be allowed to work to the fullest, no matter whose orders is God. I mean, but the way forward will be to increase mass education. The NCC, the Information Services Department, must play a role. NCC especially. People might be engaged in some of these things because they downplay or they don't even know the rules to the fullest. As I sit here, I go there, and then when it's voting day, I just apply two things. I make myself available. I make sure I use my thumb, you know, and then I thumb on the papers that I'm provided with. But if you ask me all the laws that I don't really know them, and not all of them I know, the basic human sense I use that, look, when you are there, you shouldn't talk to somebody, I mean, about the candidate. You just focus. When you are done, you go home. So, I mean, that's how easy I might be doing. But then I'm sure if you were to take the electoral laws, there are some essential information you can share with people. Citizens must also respect the law and play fair. Because I'm sure somebody's action might provoke the other person to have acted that way. Yeah. Let's minimize and mitigate such cases. How do we do that? By educating people and ensuring the presence. We are in a country where sometimes even when you get to the point of where there is no turning, the police will stand in the corner and wait for you to do the U-turn and then arrest you. Yeah. But with your presence, and then when you see the traffic, say, no, use the next turn. That's another thing to do. I went to Accra Mall quite recently. A CD vehicle just parked and walked out to the next shop, picked something that maybe he had ordered. Because according to the lady, but I just saw the gentleman go in and come out. But the lady said he just went in about 2 minutes. Then they clamped the tie. Then I said, no way. No way. Who was supposed to be standing here? Yeah. You mean this whole parameter was empty? Nobody? Then the traffic warden came. The man parked at the wrong place. Then I said, you know what? Wait, call me the supervisor. Then the police inspector over there came there. Then I said, sir, let us stand here. Let supervisor come. The man might pay a fine, but this guy must go home. Because they don't even understand the work they are doing. Somebody must be there. So every time when elections is going on, somebody must be there to actually talk to people. Even I won't even put it aside if there's a recorded voice, this and that, like the lorry stations, you have those recorders there playing. As you are here, do not talk to somebody. No, let's do more of the education. It will take time. I mean, even in America, after all these years of democracy, they still have shortfalls. So I will expect it. But then I'm sure with the discussions, we can move all these things away. However, the authorities must make sure that they apply the guard rule. Nobody should actually play with the law. When you fall foul, you should face with it. Yeah. I think that's all I can say. I mean, for me, we have a beautiful democracy. We need to protect it. All right.
Well, that's exactly what a lot of people are saying. And Otumfuo actually said the same thing this weekend, that our democracy will stand. And so